Welcome to the Developing Dads podcast, episode number 84. If you're tuning in on YouTube, you can see Gordon filling up his pint glass with a pink-looking IPA. You tell us what it is?
10. I'll show it on there so you can see it, Neil. Lock 10 IPA, India Pale Ale. That's what IPA is, obviously. I just wanted a wee one because I think I'm celebrating, but I'm not celebrating. I'm celebrating. I'm not celebrating. I'm just drinking on a Wednesday or Thursday.
Nice. Yeah, I've opened up a kind of lost lager. Anyway, welcome to.
I've also got a whiskey, but we'll get into that one.
Oh wow, nice. You should have told me. I could have. I mean, I've got bottles over there. I don't have glass though. Anyway,
all right. Come on, finish your intro. The people are waiting.
We're back on dry land. We're back home, back to reality. Last couple of episodes we were on the Isle of Skye, which I'm sure we could probably, just for content, we could do an episode on things to do in Isle of Skye. We both had a great trip. I'm speaking for Gordon. Hopefully he did have a great trip. I certainly did. And yeah, we're back to reality. So this podcast is a bit of a random dad chat. We're going to look at things like how we got back into the swing of things. It's been 4 days now after the holiday. And yeah, I feel like I'm I'm stuck in a rut. So we can get into that, delve into it, and Gordon can tell me off or give me a pet talk. Anyway, like we always do with the Developing Dads podcast, we ask how each other are. So it's been, I think, over a week since we last spoke. It feels like it's been a while. Anyway, Mr. Greenhorn, how are you doing? How's your week been? And what's the highlights? What's the lowlights? Give me some info.
Your intros are getting better, Neil. Not gonna lie, right?
Cheers.
Get in there.
84 hours of.
If anyone thinks Neil's podcast intros are getting better, then give us a 5-star review. I think that's a fair exchange. I'm all right, Neil. I'm all right. Yeah, I kind of, because I had to look after Olivia on Monday, so it was an all-day affair, which you know kids are like, they're a handful. So that was my duty. So I didn't really get back to work until Tuesday, and Tuesday was reasonably hectic trying to catch up with calls and emails and just general stuff. I also went to the dentist, and not so good news to celebrate on.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm 36 years old. Yeah, 2.
Oh, dear.
Either side of my mouth as well. So apparently you need injections. So I'm basically going to just get the injections each side of my mouth. Is a filling sore, Neil? Or what's it like? I've never had one.
I've had 3, I think. And every 10 years or 5 years you got to get them refilled. So it feels like more. But no, I think it's pretty easy. It's just like a pinprick. Yeah, it's the whole jaw opening thing that I find quite kind of, you're not used to having your jaw open like for 10, 15 minutes. So that can be quite annoying. But
so that's basically what I'm going to have to do at some point soon. Maybe around September, apparently, is when they can get me in. And it's an NHS dentist. And I think I've only got in because Laura's in and Olivia's in. So I'm in. And
that's pretty lucky to get an NHS dentist because there's not many nowadays.
I know, but if I wanted the fillings done by the NHS, 70 quid for both of them. It's like that metal thing.
If you want white ones, it's like 150 or something, is it?
£170 each.
Yeah.
But thankfully, Laura's new job has dental cover as part of her health insurance. We get like 450 quid a year. So your boy's using that, isn't he?
Yeah, we get that too, which is good.
So I'll get the white ones so I don't look like a cyborg. But yeah, it's kind of gutting because my teeth are usually pretty good. I'm usually all right at looking after my teeth. Like I'm not incredible, but I'm not bad at it. It just feels pretty. It sucks, right? Because I've gone my whole life without ever having any issues of fillings and stuff. But here we are.
Do you think it's something to do with having kids? Like you're less self-care, less like time cleaning your teeth, or I don't know.
Nah, like teeth decay.
Yeah.
And here we are. I'm 36, midlife, and I'm just getting my first fillings. And equally, I think because I do have gum problems, like my gums aren't great, so they're the main issue. But anyway, yeah, I'm sure this is riveting content for everyone's listening to it. It's like Gordon's getting some fillings done. Oh, drama, right? For the next 4 episodes, we're just going to talk about the pain that Gordon's going to have to go through and suffer, and then how he's going to overcome it. But yeah, like let's do something a bit more interesting. Apart from coming back to work, the holiday was fantastic.
What was the highlight?
Like, I actually, the weird part was, remember when we went for a walk?
Yeah, the kind of simple, random, in the rain, 6 o'clock walk.
Like it's a wild thing to watch my daughter with your kids.
Yeah, it's pretty special.
That's friggin' wild. And they're not babies, you know, they're not kind of like potatoes. They're actual human beings that have emotions, that touch, like want to hold each other's hands, or they want to talk to each other, or they want to engage with each other. It's just wild.
Yeah.
Like,
And like even Gordon FaceTimed us this just at dinner time. Like the reactions the boys are getting and Livia's getting is totally different now. They've obviously been socializing in person, and there's a bit more of that's Olivia and that kind of thing.
It's great. And you know, I want to really cling on to that as much as I can. So it's like, it's just a factor that I don't think it matters where we are. It's helpful. Like Isle of Skye was fantastic. It's a beautiful country, or part of the country. If you're jetting off to other places and have not visited the Isle of Skye, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, just go and see it for a few days. So it's fantastic. Good to be out in the outdoors. Nice to see different parts of Scotland, bits and pieces that I've wanted to see. Nice to see where you've been banging on about for ages. And then just that highlight was when we went for a walk. It was your three kids, me, you and Olivia, and they were just all working, playing together, running around, chasing things. Neil was jumping fences, chasing his dog, because that's his life now.
He's gone. He's gone, Gordon. Still alive, but we've got rid of him.
You got rid of the dog already?
Oh yeah, it's been 3.5, 4 months. Anyway, we can delve into that when I give you my update.
What? Hold on. So you've not got a dog anymore?
I don't have a dog anymore. No.
Is this your decision?
Joint decision. So I don't know if you. It doesn't matter if you don't know this, but I'll tell everyone anyway. So when we first got him, he had quite a lot of kind of growling, kind of anxiety, and didn't want to be left alone. Didn't want to be left alone in his kind of own room. He had to always be by our side, and that's kind of quite common in dogs that have just lost their owner and they're in a new place and they don't know us. And that went away. So we were kind of happy about that. He stopped growling. He was kind of happy in his own room. He was happy in his own space. Didn't need us all the time. And then we took him to Skye, and he was generally okay in Skye, like pretty chilled. Didn't really do much. And on the drive home, he had he was just growling and barking and just like turned to a different dog. So when we got home, we were a bit unsettled. And then the week of him being home, very, very unsettled, like sleepless nights. He was just barking, and yeah, it was I don't know what happened. So anyway, we made the hard decision to try and find a home for him that's more settled, that's not going to be traveling. Like we're going to the Isle of Islay in a few weeks' time with all the kids. I think he just needs an older owner that doesn't have young kids running around, blah, blah. Anyway, we found a dog trainer that trains gun dogs, loves Labradors. He's taking him on. So bit emotional, bit relieved that he's got a good home. They think it might be like he's been to the vet. I think it might be like dog schizophrenia or something. No, not schizophrenia, dog epilepsy.
Oh.
So like he just like stares into thin air and starts barking and growling because he doesn't know what's going on. He's basically having a fit. So sad, but don't have a dog.
Oh, sorry about that, Neil.
Yeah.
Are you going to buy one now?
I feel more for the kids.
All right.
Especially Isla. But yeah, am I going to buy one? So I think, like you said, inevitably we'll get a dog. We'll probably get a puppy so it can grow up with us. It'll be probably a smaller version. Like Cooper was quite a big dog, quite like he's a big lab. So it would be like a medium-sized dog, cockapoo type affair. So yeah, in a few years probably when things have calmed down.
All right, fair enough. Sorry to hear that. But yeah, I loved the holiday. Holiday was great. That was a highlight. We also went to a distillery, so I'm drinking a whiskey. So I don't know if anyone can see. Can that focus? Yeah, look at that, Neil. So it's a Rasé whiskey, newish distillery, sort of 4 years old. I really quite liked the whole. This is a topic to discuss, I guess. I like the whole. I like the whole idea that a lot of things and a lot of stuff actually in our lives, especially professionally and life and stuff, is that we value age so much. Like skin in the game, experience.
Yeah.
kind of grey hair, wisdom, all those kind of things, right? But I like the fact that Razzie it's not trying to lean on any of that, because it doesn't have it for a start. Like, it's not marketing, you can't do that. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with being new age technology, for example, where they used a lot of sort of aluminium containers and, you know, modern technology and a lot of that kind of
things
stuff.
and
Yeah, rather than like trying to lean too hard on, yeah, we're old school and we still got these Porter Cops from 1884. And you're like, well, maybe they're shit.
Yeah. I mean,
Do you know what I mean?
Talisker whiskey wasn't that great.
No, it's worse.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing where I was just thinking about it. I was just like, we make precious age too much, I think, at times, when, you know, the new way to do something, the new thinking of something is often like, it's quite a good way to do things, or a rebellious way. I guess I get quite attached to things that are rebellious and trying to push envelopes of certain things. I don't know why, but I quite like it.
And the whole Razzie thing, for the people that don't know, is like, it's a distillery on an island with like 200 people on it. So it's quite hard to get to. It's not very well visited, but like, it's quite a big gamble and quite a big risk to like, let's buy a bit of land and let's build them, like, I don't know, 10, 20 million pound distillery on it. I think that takes balls and it takes guts. It takes a risk. Depends
how much money you've got, Neil.
True. I wish I asked that question of like, how much did it cost? Like, how much did this? Because apparently it was one guy.
Yeah, if you have £1 billion in the bank, Neil,
Yeah,
like 10 million quids.
True.
You know, it's a fun punt, because these things can be worth a lot of money as well. If you sell enough of it, like, there's someone will come along and buy it for 100 million.
Yeah, I've actually got a bottle of their first release.
Oh yeah,
same. It's not been opened. No.
Oh wow.
So a bit of a sad story. We got this for Papa Sky, who's Rebecca's granddad, Isla's great granddad, my daughter, and we got it for his 90th birthday. I didn't get a chance to drink it. So yeah, both it's kind of one of the first of Razzie, and it's kind of means a lot to the family. So I don't know when I'm going to open it. I think it needs to be a pretty special occasion.
Yeah, that type of thing as well. You know, I've got my wedding whiskey that Laura bought me, and you know, it's quite expensive. It's very tasty. It's amazing whiskey. But that as well is kind of like, you can't treasure. You can't just hold on to these things. You need to like use them.
Yeah, but it's like, when's the right moment?
Well, I don't know really. I mean, it's on the anniversary, I guess.
Yeah,
either on his birthday, which I think is a bit more poignant, a bit happier, or his death, like the day of his death.
Yeah.
And you have a dram to it, and you just be like, thanks very much. And that's the type of thing, like when I, like things like alcohol or things like this whiskey, this reminds me of the time we were there.
Yeah.
And the great time I was having. And that's when you drink it. And then you'll remember the first sip and you'll remember the last sip.
Yeah.
And anyway, sorry, that's a bit sad and poignant, but it's a nice way to do it. So yeah, I really enjoyed the whiskey tour. Like I said, Talisker as well, you know, didn't have the same kind of flavor for me. I like the independent kind of idea. I like the rebellious upstart kind of thing, and Razzie was that for me. Did Old Man Store, which was really cool. Tougher climb with a 15-kilo baby on your back, you know, hiking her all the way up.
I'm pretty amazed how much we managed to kind of crack into the five odd days we had on that.
Yeah, we were busy. Me and Neil did some cold dipping.
Yeah, we did.
You know, we did some of that. That would be, if Isle of Skye had Deliveroo, Uber, and gigabit internet, I could definitely give it a go. Because like going to a little beach and then just jumping in the morning is it's a nice little romantic thing to do. And it's not the same as some, you know, wanker who's paid $2,500 to put an ice bath in their backyard, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, to me that was kind of fun. And yeah, just the whole experience of all together. It was lovely. Really enjoyed it. And last but not least, had a dram with David in Glasgow when we were travelling back the night before. Went for a lovely meal. 2 fat ladies. If you've never been to it in Glasgow, it's absolutely fantastic. Delicious Scottish fare. And then on the way back, we had a pint and a dram just to finish off the night. And we had a 12-year-old Glenachie, which was a sensational, Neil. You've got to buy a bottle. Like it's my like sweet toffee, you know, sherry finish as well.
Wow.
Very, very, very good. 44 quid a bottle as well for a 12-year.
That's all right.
Which, it's not bad. So, yeah, that would be my recommendation. Anyway, Neil, how are you? I've been talking for 15 minutes. What's going on?
I'm good. Yeah. It's kind of, it's good to get back into some, although I'm going to say routine. I'm not really in a routine, but I don't know, it's good to look back on the holiday and just have fond memories. So I was off for the 2 weeks. I did London with you, Simon Sinek, Steve Bartlett, and then we went straight into Isle of Skye, and then finished it off with Dad Camp. So it's a kind of an annual thing where a few of our dads go and camp out somewhere, and we went to a place called North Berwick, which is just outside Edinburgh. Beautiful beaches, like massive white sand beaches with beautiful blue waters. So we're there for 2 nights. Kids absolutely loved it. Barbecues, paddleboarding, just a great time. And yeah, it's a thing I kind of want to hold on to for every year. I think we've kind of created something that hopefully will carry us on into the kids growing up and becoming teenagers. What else have I been up to? Yeah, got rid of the dog. Kind of sad, but a bit relieved because it was just getting a bit worrying. Got back. Promotion. I could talk.
Sounds great, Neil.
I'm looking at my notes.
Oh, right.
I got promoted at work, which is quite an exciting thing. It was actually, I was at the airport when I told you, and that day my boss and the CEO took me aside and kind of told me the plans for the kind of restructuring the organisation. They want me to be part of one side of the business and the leadership team. And yeah, it was just a massive like sense of wow. And then I don't know, when I told you and I texted you, I was like, I don't know, super proud of myself, and your reaction was nice. And anyway, yeah, so like that's kind of formalised now, and got my contracts. Everyone in the business knows. It's all been announced in the quarterly, which I'm a bit sad I didn't go. I was in Skye, but yeah, it's just I've got a major imposter syndrome, and I don't know if I told you that, and I can maybe delve into the podcast and how to get over that. But yeah, just like, am I good enough? Is someone just popping me up to make me feel good, or do I deserve this? All that kind of stuff. Feels a bit weird, and feels a bit like. It also feels when I talk about it, I feel like I'm boasting and being big headed. Oh, you got imposter syndrome, look at you. But yeah, it's an odd feeling, but good nonetheless.
Damn right it is, Neil.
Yeah,
like I have no idea what I'm doing. That's not strictly true, but I think you get what I mean. You know, I sat down today and had a consult meeting for an hour helping someone map out YouTube and their hiring process around their media team. I'm sorry, what?
Who am I to tell you? Yeah, I get
this time 10 years ago, I was training people probably right now in a gym on how to do bicep curls.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like there's definitely it's good to have it's good to be the least smart person in the room. It's also good to feel a sense of I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, then what are you doing?
Yeah. I think you only grow and you get better experience.
Well, you're just procrastinating unless you're pursuing excellence.
Yeah.
So, to me, it's like hats off to you. Like there's clearly something going on, and yeah. Like
I remember saying to you about 6 months ago, I've kind of made the decision of like I'm just going to coast for a while. I'm just going to like see how this goes. I don't need to really push myself, and this kind of gets handed to me.
And imagine you'd actually tried. Imagine you actually applied yourself, Neil, and decided to not just be a little shite bag and just kind of be like, oh, you know what, I'm just going to take it easy. I'm going to have a fancy job in Edinburgh.
The funny thing is, Craig sometimes listens to this, so it'll be interesting to see his take.
All right, okay. So me taking the piss out of you.
Anyway, that was definitely a highlight in the fact that I can share.
Hold on. So what does this mean then? Does this mean you're not allowed to do your Scandinavian 4 days a week, and you're actually having to do some work now, or what's the
still 4 days a week. Just I guess more kind of strategy stuff and thinking and ensuring that the customers are growing, the business is growing, on the like customers are renewing, and we're not having people drop out, and yeah, people are going to be reporting into me, and yeah, there's
good shit.
Still getting to find, like I was in Edinburgh today, getting more definition of what that means.
Yeah, that good shit, Neil. That's what it's about.
Not bad for a 32-year-old.
Yeah. So what do you call yourself now? Senior vice president, or what's the
No,
what's the
TBC, which is frustrating. Head of, I think, because there's still discussions around other people's roles and that kind of thing and all that. So I'm part of the leadership team, be like head of customer success or something like that.
Yeah, the one thing is like labels are kind of annoying.
Yeah, because
everybody wants them, but they're totally useless.
Yeah, I mean, I could put anything on my CV. Like, people, my previous company is not going to know or say he wasn't a head of or a vice president.
Senior vice president.
Yeah.
No, it's not. And it also, unfortunately, like, especially in small businesses, like bigger businesses, maybe if you're in the army, probably helpful. But when you're in a small business, like, you kind of want to be everything.
Yeah.
You want to know that the person you're reporting into is your manager, and that's the person you can lean on if you need help with something or require sort of some feedback or whatever else. That's as far as it goes, right? Whether they're called Princess Lula or managing director, like but then sometimes one of the only things I'd say for a label, especially if you're selling something, is if you have, a senior name.
Yeah.
So if you're going to see a big client that's going to be paying lots of money for your product, then it's pretty helpful to have the CEO in the room.
Yeah. I mean, the consultancy side of the business. I think that we've got like 4 or 5 managing directors. So the whole kind of job title thing is an odd.
But none of them are called CEO. So there is something behind that, right?
There's always one CEO.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like there is the bullshit of the whole managing director thing, but there's not so much bullshit around being a CEO. Like that's one title.
Yeah. And Craig's actually stepping down from CEO, which is again kind of public news. So
interesting. Yeah. You taking that job, are you, Neil? That's what you're saying to us?
Succession planning. Yeah, that's what Craig's doing for me.
Succession planning. Look at your corporate words.
Anyway, and then my boys turned 5, which again has made me just feel a bit odd. Excited and grateful that they turned 5, but just like, wow, I've got a 5-year-old now and 1 8-year-old. Just feel, I don't know, I feel a bit, as I said, start the podcast, a bit of stuck in a rut. Like, my running's dropped off. I'm eating loads of food, drinking lots of beer. I just feel like I'm in a bit of a yearly crisis, not a midlife crisis, but just like I started the year quite motivated and strong, and then I've kind of dipped a little bit. My mental health's still good, but my everything else is just, I don't know what it is.
What's the feeling you get when you think about the kids being 5 and 8?
That I'm getting older, which just makes me feel a bit, I don't know, a bit odd and a bit like.
What does older mean?
What does older mean? I should maybe be doing more, or I should maybe have my shit together a bit more, or I don't know, just, yeah.
Give me an example of someone who doesn't have their shit together.
I don't know.
No, just give me an example. Like we can call him Bob, like we did the last time.
Yeah,
or Bill, or whatever it was.
we know who we're talking about.
Yeah, so give me an example of like what person doesn't have their shit together. Like what are the attributes you think of someone who doesn't have their shit together?
I don't know. Let themselves go a bit in terms of, I don't know, their whole diet and their training and that kind of thing.
Right, fine. Okay. What else?
Finances maybe not in check. Like,
what does that mean?
Just not having like 6 months in the bank for a rainy day, or yeah. Trying to think about.
Are you just now describing yourself or Bob?
Probably describing myself.
Right. That's not what I asked.
I don't mind describing myself, being open on the podcast, but yeah, I just feel like I should have. I don't know. The house is a bit of a mess. Things need done in the house. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like there's things piling up, and I feel like if I've got 2 5-year-olds and an 8-year-old, maybe it should be a bit more.
I mean, first of all, the grass is only greener on the other side because it's covered in bullshit. Right?
Yeah.
So that's part of your thing. You're potentially looking at the other side of the fence and going, yeah, but their lawn looks better than mine. Like,
yeah.
But it's not true, is it? The second thing is all the things you're talking about are controllables. If you write them down and break down like what part of that you can contribute towards today, that sorts that out, and the time scale that does in, like that's an easy. Like you're sitting there going, when
Here's a pep talk coming.
yes, get a notepad, mate. Sit down. You know, I want to have 6 months of runway in the bank. Right, what do I need to do? You know what you need to do there. So you go, here's my monthly expenses, here's my monthly income. How much can I put away?
Yeah, like I know how to get out of bed and go for a run. Like I know how to not eat the 5 chocolate cakes I've eaten.
Yeah.
It's just about doing, isn't it? It's just about
Exactly.
Yeah. And I find myself like, oh, in this moment I'll start, or when this happens I'll start, or when that thing happens, or
Doesn't happen.
yeah, I know. Like I know.
Yeah. So I think there's some part of this is also embracing it. Just embrace a bit of a suck. Like lean into it. Just be like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have a fucking chocolate cake.
Yeah. As I say, it's only temporary.
It is, because it's not like this is something where it's not like something where you're changing the physiology of your body. Like if you take drugs, for example, like cocaine regularly, you essentially affect the dopamine receptors in your brain. So they become either oversaturated and then desensitized, or they require more to make them work. Like you're not doing that. So in my mind, there's kind of something about leaning into it a little bit, and you just go, you know what, this is time to reflect on it. There's a few things in my life that I should be doing better on. Let's just lean on it a little bit, and then let's just pick myself up when I feel like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to be fair, writing it down is not a bad idea. Like, what do I need to commit to get to this point? For anyone who's listening, Neil's nodding.
Forgot nodding had no sound to it. Yeah, I agree. And like vocalizing it also helps.
Yeah, like I'm not rejecting your feeling. You know, it's like Olivia turns 2 in August, and really, actually, the more daunting thing for me is like a second baby.
Yeah,
which we'll eventually try for one, and we'll hopefully have one. And there's some things I block out, like the idea of if that's looming at some point, not in the too far distant future, how easy is it going to be? But then evidence suggests it's pretty bloody easy. So that's all I've got, right? Is the evidence of one experience.
Other people doing it, and your experience.
So I don't really pay much attention to other people because their bodies don't affect my ability to have babies. But it's still kind of one of those things. And you think, shit, I'm going to have another baby. Like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Do I have my shit together? I have no idea.
Yeah.
So, and then it's more the trepidation as well. It's like if you've got 2 babies, then it's 2 times more expensive. Well, not quite. It's probably 1.5 because you've got loads of shit that you can just pass down. But it's also, are they going to be a boy? Are they going to be a girl?
Is it going to be twins?
Is it going to be twins? Is it going to be triplets? You'd love it to be triplets, wouldn't you?
I'd come down and take you out.
You'd come down with just a can of beers and just drink them on your own, wouldn't you? That's all you'd do. That's what you do. You'd be like, we're immediately doing a podcast right now. So yeah, I guess I think about stuff like that, but I don't know if I think about whether I've actually, no, that's not true. Like I'm in this kind of this bit with the agency where I need a win. I need a win because I had one client fall off or finish their package, which was a chunk of change. And then I'm still waiting for like 2 or 3 kind of people that are just dragging their heels a little bit and trying to get it over the line in terms of like money in the pocket. And there's assessments for me that again, I always try and like adopt the controllable mindset. It's like, I can't control these customers, but maybe my proposition wasn't good enough. Maybe I can make it, maybe I can build a website. I'll invest in a new website, make it a little bit more clear about all the packages and things that I offer, all the testimonials, and collect all the data and stuff so that I can sell it. Maybe I can start doing Facebook ads or a like or Instagram ads, that kind of thing. So to me, yeah, that's that's what I've got to do. I've just got to keep the mindset, because if I look too much at the rejection, like why don't people want to buy from me? Then it grinds you down real hard.
Makes it personal as well, and makes you feel shit.
Yeah, so I guess it's part of that. It's like when I'm talking to you about it, it's like, well, what are my controllables here? You know, what are the things that I can make a difference in? And often or not, they're pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And I also would suggest that I don't find this works when I'm talking to Laura. It's not this, like, motivation is not the same between men and women and men and men. You know, do you do it with with Rebecca, where she'll like tell you what her problem is, and you're just like, it's obvious, just do it like this.
Make a list. That's my go-to. Like, Rebecca's feeling overwhelmed, just write it down. Just make a list.
You know the best bit. You know the best one. There's two skits that I've seen. One is on Instagram, and one is from The Modern Family. So the first one is a skit on Instagram that is he's the same person. He just kind of goes backwards and forwards between the man, and he's pretending to be the woman. And he's sat on the couch and he's going, you know, I feel really tired and I've got a bit of a sore head. And it turns to the male, obviously, opinion, and he just goes, maybe you should just have a drink of water.
Yeah, so
it's true. And then in the modern family one is one of the husbands, I think, goes to a beauty salon, and he's the only one there, and he's all surrounded with women. He's getting his like nails done, and he's getting a pedicure and stuff, and he's suddenly discovering all of the things that he should be doing in his relationship. And one of those is not responding not giving an opinion when they're offering their feelings of something.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can't believe so-and-so is making me late for so-and-so to go and pick up so-and-so. You don't need to turn around and go, well, you should have left earlier.
Yeah. You sympathize and say that must be.
Or you plan. Yeah, you just go, oh, I understand. Okay, yeah. That makes total sense. I understand. You know?
I wonder what the history of that is in terms of why men are wired to just finding a solution and getting a fix and moving on to the next one.
Just to clarify, I'm happy to have my opinion changed, and if anyone wishes to do so, then by all means, email in at mail@gordongreenhorn.com. But I suspect because maybe men's problems were bigger.
Yeah, we just can't communicate, so we're like, let's fix it.
Well, you forget about it, right? Because if a mammoth is trying to run you over, or a saber-toothed tiger is trying to eat you, it's probably easier to think of the solutions than how scary it is.
Yeah.
Just punch it in the face. No, that's not true. I don't know. I don't really know. I think there's been some mentions on a Modern Wisdom podcast where a female psychologist or biologist or something, I don't know. But either way, she was kind of discussing the idea that male power came in strength and physicality and fighting and all that kind of stuff, right? That's where their power and strength came from. Whereas a female's power came from socialization, discussion, gossip, manipulation, more of the mind aspects rather than the physical aspects. So, there's probably something to do with that. I don't know. That's wild, and who knows? For saying what I've just said, I could be completely cancelled for the rest of my life, and no one else is ever going to talk to me.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Have you seen this is a bit of an off-topic thing, but have you seen the kind of what's going on with people using AI and voice generation? They're like taking podcast episodes and like making, that scares me a little bit. I'm like
Steve Jobs on the Joe Rogan podcast.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's wild.
Wow.
What do I think about it?
But there was a thing, just before we get into it, there's a thing about this girl's daughter who posts a lot on YouTube. Basically, these guys took her voice and then pretended she was kidnapped. And like her mum should come and like pay this money, blah, blah, this ransom to this bank account, and then we'll release your daughter. And it was her daughter like speaking on the phone. That was in Australia somewhere. And that's mad.
Yeah, there's some scary things around that. That's kind of terrifying. Again, my brain goes immediately into like controlled environment here, where if that's something that happens, then you come up with like a family safety code word or something, right?
Yeah, so I've kind of mentioned it to Rebecca, and I'm like, yeah, if anyone gives you a call and says transfer this money to this bank account, probably don't do it.
Yeah,
if,
don't do it.
If it sounds like me, like if it's genuinely sounds like me, then.
If it's true, just let them kill me. Because I've got life insurance, you'll get the house.
And 5 times my salary.
Yeah, exactly. Like fucking just let them kill me. Like it's probably better off doing that. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's I think I can see the advantages of it if you're like a creator who has forgotten to say a line or wants to manipulate something, because you can do that in Descript, for example. We could take this podcast and basically input words that would be mapped to our voices, so we can make it sound a certain way and do those kind of things. So there's kind of a benefit to that if you work with a team and you don't have time and you're a CEO and you want to try and build out like an audience or organic kind of thing. But I don't know, mate. Like the whole AI thing is kind of shit that we just got to work out how it comes out. Like social media has been that. Social media has been that for its entire existence, right? No one really knows what the hell it is. We haven't even worked it out now. It's like 10 years in. You look at the car, for example, like when the first car was kind of first invented and came out, like how many petrol stations were there? None.
Yeah.
So how did you fill up your car and travel anywhere? You know, to the electric car now, it's the same situation. It's just now electric, right? That's one of the biggest problems in it. So I just think we figure it out as it happens. And unfortunately, that can mean that we might be in an era of the Terminator and we're all about to die. Because there's a horrible statistic, Neil, where there's like, you know, only 1 or 2% of the world's AI engineers are working on safety.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
You just wonder what these countries like, I don't know, Russia or North Korea or whatever, I've got like under the hood, like it's not been released yet. It's not like ChatGPT, it's way more advanced.
Oh yeah. You just got to trust that Trump's got all the money and he can make sure that we're all good. But even then, like I don't know if this is this. You can tell me if this is selfish or not. But sometimes I think about it. I'm like, I worry for Olivia, and then maybe her kids, because I'll meet them. But after that, I'm dead.
Yeah,
like I'm kaput. Like I'm dirt. So what the hell matters? Is that selfish? Yeah. Is that selfish to think about like what the impact is for our kids and future kids and whatever else? Because they won't give a shit about me. They won't even know who I am. We don't even like. Do you even know our great grandfather's name on our mum's side? Do you even know our great grandfather's name on dad's side? Right. Here you go.
We're going to be famous grandparents, though, Gordon.
We will be. They're going to listen to that. They're going to listen to us and go, "Fuck's sake, we let these people like roam around the world, flying and deforesting our trees and stealing all our seawater and shit." Yeah,
the temperature stuff's pretty mad as well. Like every year,
that's wild.
Continually gets hotter, and there's power cuts now because the heat.
Wait, thank God I would be dead. To be honest.
Well, I mean, it's rising at a pretty rapid rate, Gordon.
All right, I'm moving to Isle of Skye, then I'll be fine up there.
That's a thing. Yeah.
Here's one thing though. I'm curious about your thoughts on. This guy, the TV presenter Hugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. What do you know about it, and what do you know about it?
So I know that he's had a bout of depression over the years of various degrees, and I think he was messaging somebody that was not underage but young.
Okay,
and that's probably it.
So then, after what do you think?
I don't think I've got enough information to form an opinion. I think I quite like his news reporting. I quite like he's quite straight to the point.
So that's what you're missing.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing, right? He's had his private life basically like put out there in the world, and the police investigated it, quite frankly, and they found no legal issue.
Wow.
No legal issue whatsoever. Like, so he's just it's a bit weird, right?
There's lots of weird people.
But just to the point, like you're people were hunting for him.
Yeah. There's a lot of bad shit.
Do you know what I mean? Like there's people like literally trying to like just take him apart. Like he's got to be named. This is ridiculous. The BBC are holding it back and blah blah. It's like legally he's done nothing wrong, and that's the benchmark, right? There's moral and ethical issues, sure, like I understand all that, but that comes down to culture. Like what country you come from has certain, like for example in Dubai it's illegal to be gay. That's their unfortunate bench, but I don't agree with that. You know, certain aspects of like what women should and shouldn't wear in certain countries, all these kind of things. But like the bloke just got caught with his pants down, being an idiot.
Yeah,
you don't need to like
ruin his
make
life.
him want to kill him, make him kill himself for that.
Yeah. And his kid's life and his wife and all those guys will be affected, and pretty horrendous.
I mean, it's bad. Like don't get me wrong, it's not a good thing that he's done as such in the eyes of nearly everybody, but it's not an evil thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't deserve, like for every action and there's an equal and opposite reaction. But in this instance, his actions do not align with the horrible nature of the way that the public and the press went after it. You know, that's not deserving of anyone. And again, I go back to that point I've made so many times in the podcast. This whole hashtag be kind. Fuck off.
It's like that, was it Sarah? No, not Sarah Everard. There was a woman that was on a Skype business call and she was walking along with her dog and then she disappeared and ended up, she fell in the river. She was
that
all over
one.
the news.
She wasn't on a Skype call, was she? She wasn't on a Skype call.
Teams call.
No, she I think she'd done it previous, but I don't think she was on a Teams call as such. But she tied up her dog on a bench, hadn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she fell in the river and she died from cold shock, wasn't it?
Yeah. But
she'd swallowed water and drowned.
The news just totally took up.
Went after her husband.
Yeah, like affairs and
yeah.
Oh, just mad.
Yeah, it's bad, isn't it? Like it's just kind of that probably terrifies me a little bit more than AI, to be perfectly honest.
Fake
like
news.
just the crazy speed at which people can be just torn down.
Yeah.
And even faster now. Like back in the day, it would probably be a little bit slower, but these days it's just rapid. Like you can just have your life ruined by saying one thing.
Yeah.
You know, like you can hold an opinion that that someone doesn't agree with that you didn't realize was wrong. You know, it's like Ricky Gervais talks about it on one of his comedy sketches. He's like, anyone writing on Twitter 10 years ago didn't realize they needed to write a man who becomes a woman is not a woman. Like a woman with a penis is not a man.
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't think you needed to say that. But now if you say that, you get taken apart. You can't do that, apparently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like Kevin Hart. He was meant to like host the BAFTA or the Grammy Awards or something a few years ago, and basically last minute, like just a couple minutes before he got cancelled, and basically told he wasn't allowed to do it because of a tweet he wrote like 15 years ago.
What did he say?
I can't remember. It was slightly racist, but not that bad. But yeah,
slightly racist. Kevin Hart. He's black.
Yeah, not racist. Maybe it was racist to the I can't remember what it was. I mean,
well, there's a slightly more sinister one. Was Ian Wright, the football player?
Yeah.
So he passed a racial slur to I think it was a parking attendant, a parking warden, who was from another part of Africa, and he basically just kind of like, racial slurred him, and he's prevalent on TV now, talking about how racism's terrible and all this kind of thing, which is true. Like I'm not disagreeing with what his sentiment is. It's just that like you said pretty horrible things to someone, like racist things to someone, and now you're campaigning for anti-racism. Like, all right.
Yeah.
Mad.
So the Kevin Hart thing in 2009, he basically joked that he's going to stop his son being gay.
So it wasn't race, it was homophobia.
Yeah. And that surfaced a few days before the BAFTA Awards, the Oscar Awards that he was meant to be hosting, and he was told he wasn't allowed to do it. Which is just, it's a bit odd.
BAFTA Awards.
Yeah. And I'm not sure I agree with it because Yeah. He said something bad. We've all said something bad. Yeah, don't know.
Well, there's actually a good TED talk that goes through about a woman who who tweeted. She tweeted saying she made a passing like dark joke about something. Basically, I think she said, "Don't worry, I won't get AIDS because I'm white." Before she went off to like South Africa, which is not great, but I think in the context of what she was talking about, it was supposed to be a joke. Blah blah blah. Anyway, she gets on the plane and has no mobile phone signal, obviously. And basically, she just gets fired by the time she lands because the tweet goes viral.
Yeah,
it's a TED talk. I don't know which one it is who does it, but it's a fascinating TED talk about just how easy it is to screw up and then just get cancelled.
Yeah.
That's just pretty terrifying. Should we call it there? Getting cancelled, Neil? Is that our last one?
Yeah. I hope we never get cancelled.
Well, I mean, if you do, you'll recover pretty well. I mean, look at Trump. he literally admitted to grabbing women by the pussy and became president of the United States.
True. Are you doing the sign off?
Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for listening to episode number 84 of the Developing Dads podcast. It's a random dad chat today. Nothing spectacular, just because it's just nice to hang out with my brother and have a chat about it.
I think it flowed quite well. I think it was one of the better dad chats.
Tell him to stop fucking worrying about his life. He's perfectly fine, right? He just needs to write it down, set a target, and he's going to be fine. If you are listening, thanks very much. If you give us a 5-star review, that would be fantastic. Are we at 10 yet, Neil?
I have no idea. Let me check.
Let me have a look. Reviews. I can't see any on. My Spotify on this one. Maybe
I've definitely seen
Neil
them on
can check.
Spotify. Let me check.
I've seen 9. There's definitely 9 that I've seen in previous things. Anyway, if you are interested, this will be up on YouTube at some point. Do check us out on there. If you've got any questions, queries, pop them in a comment. Happy to answer any questions. If you want to, check out Instagram, where Neil doesn't post any reels ever, really, which is handy, obviously.
I go through times when I'm feeling motivated, and
it's great. I do all the work, basically, is what Neil's saying.
YouTube's going well.
YouTube's going well, yeah. If you have any questions or queries, thanks very much for tuning in. Check us out on Instagram, Developing Dads. Check us out on YouTube, Developing Dads. And 84 done, Neil. That'll do. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Right.
No, I have no idea. Review count on Spotify. Can't find it. Who knows?
Right.
Must be
millions
pretty good.
millions. It's pretty good, Neil. It's excellent. Okay, 5-star reviews. Either way, thanks very much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Goodbye.
Cheers.